Is this working? Hi guys. It is May 30th and I'm here to do my May update. Um my computer seems to be a little sluggish. So we'll see how this goes. Um May was a really good stitching month. Like yeah. Um I did like 4,200 stitches this month and there's still another day left in the month. So um it was a really good month. I had two finishes and I had a start and a finish. That's one of the finishes. And I made some progress on my other projects, and it's been a good month. And I bought some stuff because, well, you know. Um, so I guess we'll get started. These are sort of going to be in random order. Um, so the first thing that I have here is uh, joyful joy in the journey. I'm going to learn to speak. Can you see that? Joy, sort of, maybe. Joy in the Journey by Leisure Arts. This is available on the Leisure Arts website for like $5-6. Um, I started this in July of 2020. This was my birthday start, and there was a stitch along in Virtual Stitchers, and Natalie at Knitting Not Stitches started it, and I think maybe someone else or a couple people, and then other people worked on other things, but it was my birthday stitch along for 2020. And I did this month, not a lot on it. I used it for some shopping or something on the road trip. Oh yeah, I used it for the road trip because I needed something that had um, something that had hearts on it. And so that's where I got to, and there's some hearts down at the bottom of the design, next to where it says just, "Joy in the Journey." So I did 250 stitches. All of the I finished all of the leaves in the border, all of the stems, and I did a little bit of work on the border. And that was, yeah, 300 stitches. No, yeah, 300, 250 stitches. So there's Joy in the Journey. This is not, well, it's not so far on the plan for June, but it might come out. And this lives in my beehive bag from Garan. I moved, it was in the spring Quaker bag and I moved it. The next thing that I worked on is um, my old friend Under the Evergreen. I did 200 stitches on this, and I just did these, this part of the tree right here. I'm just filling in the tree. And this blank space over here is getting smaller. It's filling in. I'm feeling good about it. So we'll get back to this when we get to plans. This is definitely on the plan for June. But for May, I just did 200 stitches on it. Oops, I'm about to have a avalanche here. Okay, so before we get to my finishes, the last thing I worked on before we get to finishes, and I just finished working on this today, is temperature tree. I'm all caught up, you guys. I have all of the leaves on between January 1st and May 30th. I did 1,244 stitches on it this month. I did some of the April leaves and all of the May branch and all of the May leaves. And I'm all caught up. So tomorrow or June 1st, I'll put on the May 31st leaf and I'll get started stitching on June. So this is Temperature Tree by Stitch and Mommy on Etsy. And she has a bunch of other temperature designs. They're very popular right now. There's several people, several of my friends are stitching the butterflies. Uh, lots of temperature designs. Okay. So last month, for my categories that I'm doing with Sammy at Sammy J Stitches, I needed something that was small and I needed something that was monochromatic. And I had finished my blackbird. I wanted to do a blackbird start. So I thought, well, let me see if I can find something that fits. And I found a small monochromatic blackbird. And I started it. And last month I did like 250 or 300 stitches on it. And this month I worked on it. And on May 25th, I finished it. This is Bird in Hand by Blackbird Designs. And it's the called for color is Baked Apple by Weeks Dye Works. I did not have enough of that. And so I used DMC 221. I used the entire skein of DMC 221. And I actually had to go into another skein and get a couple of lengths off of that skein to finish it up. So it takes a lot of thread. And I think part of the reason actually is the border, because I did the border. I crossed each stitch as I went in the border because of the pattern. And I think that that eats a lot of thread when you do that. If I were to go across and come back, I think maybe it would have taken less thread. But I think this has a total of 2,081 stitches in it. And I did 1,781 stitches this month. So this is where a good chunk of that 4,000 came from. So there's Bird in Hand by Blackbird. I haven't cut off. I need to cut off the bottom part of the fabric so that I'll have my finish and then I'll have another blank piece of fabric or something. And then my other finish is not here. My other finish is at work because the cross stitch is finished, but the finishing work is not. So I have it at work doing the finishing work. And that, of course, is, here's a good picture. I took this picture at work and the lighting is much better at work than it is here at home. Fluorescent light is really fabulous for some things. This, of course, is my Renaissance by Margaret Bendig. This is an old guild project. So I finished the, get it a little bit better. I finished up the frame weight and the scissor fob, and I have it at work doing the four-sided stitch that goes all the way around the needle book. So I'm just kind of chipping away at that when I work in the office. It's been kind of a struggle, honestly. I was having a difficult time with it, and so I went to Joann and I bought a magnifier, like a clip-on magnifier, and I have it kind of in a makeshift setup at work, but it works, and that's helped a lot. Like, I'm not exactly zooming along on it, but I'm making progress on it. And I'm definitely making more progress than I would have been uh, without the magnifier. When I was trying to do it without the magnifier, it was slow, and I kept frogging, and I was frustrated because I'm like, I can't tell where I'm supposed to be. I can't tell if I'm in the right place, if it's 2 threads, if it's 3 threads, if it's, if I'm, one fabric thread too far, over. I couldn't see it. And I think part of it is part of it is the thread, the pearl cotton. I think it just covers up the fabric threads. And it was a struggle. And so the magnifier is helping. So I'm chipping away at that. Still got quite a ways to go. But that's what I worked on this month. I did 762 stitches on that to finish the cross stitch. Let's see, what do we have here? So I did, for the month of May, I've done so far 4,237 stitches in the month of May. Most of those honestly came from Bird in Hand, Temperature Tree, and Renaissance. And there's still maybe a little bit of stitching time left tonight. I don't know. We'll see if my friends get on Zoom. I don't know if they are or not. Maybe I'll stitch a little bit more tonight, and tomorrow I'll probably pull out the dogs and, make Vicky happy. Give the dogs some water, some love. I haven't touched them since February, so I'll pull those out and pull that out and try to do. I think I might try to do 1,000 stitches on it. So June plans. June plans. The first thing in June is the categories. Again, these are Sammy's categories that Sammy J stitches. And if you watch her floss tubes every week, she gives the categories in her floss tubes. Usually, I think towards the end of the month when she's doing her plans for the next month, she'll talk about the categories. But if you watch her videos, she talks about what the categories are. So the categories for June is a stitch along. The first one is a stitch along. And I can either use French Kitchen by Hands On Design or Summer House and Summer House Stitchworks, because I started that with Sammy and Sarah. Or I can use Join the Journey because that was my birthday start. I haven't planned that I'm going to use French Kitchen because I've only done 280 something stitches on it since I started it. But I might change my mind. I might do Join the Journey. The holiday. This is going to be a new start. So, and I wanted to start this, and I was thinking about waiting till July 4th, because Sammy and Sarah are starting a patriotic piece together on July 4th, and I thought, oh, well, I'll start mine when they start theirs. And then the categories came out, and I was trying to figure out what am I going to do, and starting this in June just made all the rest of the categories fall into place, and it just made it a whole lot easier. So I am going to start, this is my working copy, but I'm going to start Stars and Stripes by Little Stitch Girl, Jordan, by Little Stitch Girl. And I have it all kitted up. Well, I need to pull a DMC. They kit it in Classic Colorworks, I think, but I'm just going to use the DMC. And I have all the metallics. Petite Treasure Braid. I got the buttons from Jabco, which are crazy expensive, honestly. But, so this is going to be my new start in June for the holiday category. The other piece that I could have used is Under the Evergreen, But I'm going to use Under the Evergreen for the next category, and I'll show you as we go. Like, this just made it fall into place a lot easier. Because I'm like, well, if I use this for this, then what am I going to use for that? And so, we'll fix this later. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, the next category, full coverage, is Under the Evergreen. Now, I was looking at Under the Evergreen. Let me pull it back out. I'm going to show you. I told you this was going to come back out in pan. So, I was looking at this, and I'm going to put something behind it so it'll be easier to hold. Okay, so I was looking at this, and this space right here is filling in. Like, you know, it's getting smaller. I'm starting to be able to see the end of this, this tree on this half of the design. So I thought maybe I could challenge myself in June to try to finish all of the green stitches, all of the tree stitches on this part. I think it might be 1,000 stitches. It might be less than 1,000 stitches. I think it's less. I don't think it's more. I doubt that it's more. But I'm going to challenge myself and see if I can finish all the green. And that's just the green in the tree, not the ornaments, not the bear, not the missing parts of the wagon. There's some wagon missing here, and the wheel over here is missing. But just the green in the tree. So I'm going to see if I can maybe finish that in June. And it's going to be a stretch, honestly. It will. So, but we'll see. But I'm getting to that point where like I can see this ending. It's not going to last forever. I can see the end, and I'm like, let me see if I can just go ahead and knock it out. So this is going to be a focus piece for June. And then the next category, closest to a finish. So I don't have anything that's that close to a finish. Like, I don't have anything like, oh, that's my closest piece to a finish. The one that I had that was close to a finish, the Bird in Hand, I finished it. And Renaissance. And the rest of them, it's like, oh, well, and if I had Pattern Keeper on everything, you know, I might be able to tell that way. But, you know, just eyeballing it, I don't know what's closest to a finish. So I just sort of picked something that it's kind of inside of finishing, and I want to finish it, and I'm like, I'm going to pick that. So, and it's not close to a finish. Like, it still has a good 5,000 stitches left on it. But what I picked is A Stitch for Sweet Freedom by Lindy Stitches. And I still have to do the entire girl. I've done all of the verse, and I've done the flag, the banner that she's holding. I still have to do the entire girl. I've done a little bit of her skirt. And I have to do the stars down there at the bottom. So it's probably not in reach of finishing in June, but that's the one that I picked for closest to a finish because I don't have anything that's obviously close to a finish. So, and I was watching the Sunshine Stitchers, and Sheila mentioned Juneteenth, so I'm like, this will work for Juneteenth. And then the next one is Haven't Stitched On in 2022. So I have two that could go in this category, and one of them is in timeout. The only thing that is currently on my 22 and 22 that I have not stitched on this year is my Hade fairy, the littlest fairy. She's in timeout. She's a problem. In order to continue on her, I am going to have to sit my butt down and fix the problem and do whatever I'm going to do to be able to move forward on her. So if I do that, I could use her. If I don't do that, or if I do that and decide, you know what, I fixed it, but I don't really want to stitch on it, which is a definite possibility. My next choice is going to be Poppy by Nora Corbett. And she is going to be a restart. I don't like the fabric that I have her on. I only have 200 stitches in her, so it's not really that big of a deal to restart her. But if I decide not to do the fairy, then she'll be my haven't stitched on in 2022. And those are the categories. WIP Go, I think I'm also going to make an outside goal. Whether or not I stitch on her, I think I am going to make an outside goal of fixing the fairy. Because I do want to finish her, and I can't finish her if she's sitting in timeout. So I'm gonna try to make an attempt to figure her out and move forward on her, regardless of whether or not I use it for the categories. WIP Go at number 9, number 16. Number 9 is Moon Garden, which is already finished. It's missing. I don't know where it is, but it's finished. And number 16 is 10 Days on a Mirror or a Nora, and that will probably be Poppy. So I think that's about my plans for June. I think I will take the dogs out and try to put some stitches in the dogs. And continue my four-sided stitch on Renaissance. So last weekend, my light bulb here burned out on Saturday night. So I went and bought a light bulb for that. So I think that covers WIPs and plans. Next we have stash. Laurel has been shopping. And yeah, Laurel's been shopping. So Laurel already had a shopping problem. And then Miss Sammy at Sammy J Stitches went open to shop. So these are kind of, I think these are in randomish order. This I got off Stash and Load. This is Spring Glory by Sisters and Best Friends. And it's just pretty. This is just pretty too, but I doubt that I'll be able to find the accessory pack. This is the Hands to Work sampler by Victoria Sampler. And I'll probably buy some of the threads, maybe substitute some of the threads. Because, like I said, I don't think that I'm going to be able to find the accessory pack. I'll be surprised if I find the accessory pack. But I like this one, and I might try to work this one into my starts maybe later this year. Or so I was on Zoom. This is off topic. I was on Zoom a few nights ago, and I had stepped away from the camera, but I could hear what they were talking about. And they were talking about, because we had been talking about it just, a little bit before that, how many things that Laurel has promised to stitch with people. Because I promised they only named 3, and I know there's at least 1 or 2 more that they didn't name. And I'm like, wow, when you say it like that, it's really a lot. So, between the categories and my 22 and 22, I'm having to pick my starts kind of carefully. Um, so I don't know how much free space I'm going to have for new starts. And I'm having to time my new starts kind of carefully. So I don't know how much room I'm going to have for a random start like that. But we'll see. This came with these other 2. I bought them all from the same seller. And this was the main reason why I ordered from her. Blackbird Designs, Honeysuckle Manor. And they're all so pretty. There's the 2 samplers that are on the back. I like them both, but I really like this one. This is Margaret Harris. And there's a couple of other projects. Here's the Honeysuckle Manor project on the front. Actually, I think that's the same as this. That's this one here. So, yeah. So, another Blackbird book. And I have another one coming because I also found, I don't know what the title of the book is, but it's the one that has the salute to Abigail Adams in it. And my next Blackbird start, it might be Salute to Abigail Adams. This one, I got, so Cindy at Stitchery Express had a clearance sale. She had some stuff that she marked down. I think stuff that she only had a few of, old stuff she was just trying to sell off. And so I got a few things from her. And this one, I saw it, and it reminded me of my friend Joni. And so I got it. It's I Will Always Be a Wildflower by Sam Sarah. And this, this is a good stash dive project. And I think I will probably do some of that. I don't love all of the colors on this one. So I will probably do some stash diving and change some of the colors. But I like Joni, so I got that. And the other things that I got from Cindy, these are kits, and they come with the threads and the fabric. This is the Leela Valley by Drawn Thread. Drawn Thread sort of has a similar issue to Shepherd's Bush. Their pictures are not very good. They're really small. Well, they're better than Shepherd's Bush, but so I got Lily of the Valley by Drawn Thread, and I got the Easter egg sampler by Drawn Thread. And this too has the threads and the fabric. I got Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow from Stash and Load somewhere. I have Christmas and spring, so now I got autumn. I don't know when I'm going to start any of those. Here's some stuff that I got from Sammy at Tiny Hummingbird. Go check her out. She's got a group on Facebook. She's got a thread there. You can tell her what you want, and if she can get it for you, she'll try. Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery. I got You're in the Woods, the bear, and the jackrabbits. They just came out with the bald eagle. All of the designs in this series are amazing. And Of course, you know when a series comes out like this comes out, you like some of them more than others. You know, it's fine. I got this from Stash and Load 2. I think this came along with my Autumn Popcorn Hollow. This is The Spirit Given by My Big Toe. And it says, The Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. And I love that verse. This is it's 2 Timothy 1:7, I think. This I got from Sammy. This was a market release. Janet Barr Slater. And this one says, Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And this one might actually make it onto my start list this year too. Um, for maybe for my birthday, probably not for my birthday. Maybe for Sampler September. Um, maybe we'll take a little detour into my birthday start in a minute. Let Love Rain, I got from Sammy, by Teresa Kogut. And the Crosshaven Sampler by Rosewood Manor that I got from Sammy. This one, I posted in a couple of groups about this, and I didn't get as much response as I would have liked. I got some ideas. I got a couple of good ideas, but if you guys have some ideas, please let me know. I'm thinking about taking the alphabet out and maybe putting a scripture verse in there, or some sort of quote. So if you have an idea, please drop it in the comments. Let me know what your ideas are for that. I don't I don't know that I need two alphabets, but I think a quote would go nicely in there. Maybe something relevant to the scene down here. And it's hard to see on here, but there's two birds on there. They're like egrets, I think. They're not swans, but they're like egrets. So if you have a verse or a quote that suits the picture down here, let me know. And that is my stash. That's what I got this month. And I kitted up. Actually, I did. I got the threads for Stars and Stripes. Regarding birthday starts, my birthday is in about 6 weeks, and my friend Alma at Alma's Little Wonders is starting the illustrated manuscript from the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts issues. There's two of them, and so I'm gonna start that with her. Her birthday is a few days before mine, so I'm gonna start that with her. But that's her pick for her birthday. So I'm trying to come up with something that's my pick for my birthday. And I haven't settled on anything yet. Um, I was thinking about Though He Seemeth Sleeping by Lucy Beam. But I have lots of things that I could start, and lots of things when I look at them, I'm like, oh, I want to start that. Oh, I want to start that. You know how it is, because y'all do it too. So, I don't know. Um, I could start a Blackbird. I could start Salute to Abigail Adams. I could start The Winter Is Past. I could reach into my. I don't think you can see it from here. Can you see it? No, you can't see it from here. Behind the chair, there's a reusable shopping bag that has all my kitted projects in it, and I could reach into there and pick something out of there. I don't know. So we'll see. Anyway, um, I don't really have a lot else to talk about. Um, I'm still working in the office half the time, working at home half the time. On Friday, I'm going to go meet up with Alma and Sarah's family at downtown Disney. And I have met both Alma and Sarah more than once, but they have not met each other. And I've met Sarah's family more than once, but they have not met each other. So it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. Um, so we're excited about that. Uh, the Sirens Retreat is coming up in June in a couple of weeks. A lot of my friends are going. I am not going. So I will have to hear about it and live vicariously through them. Um, I will be here. Hopefully June will be as good a stitching month as May was, because May was really good. Like 4,200 stitches in a month for me. It's not unheard of, but it doesn't happen that often these days. Um, and I've kind of realized that I do more stitches when there's a finish in sight. That seems to kind of boost my stitching, the amount of time I spend stitching and my stitch count. If there's a finish in sight that I'm pushing to finish something, my stitch count tends to be higher than when I'm just, making progress on stuff, which is useful information to have. Um, I always tell people, uh, I'll keep this short. I won't ramble on too long about this, I promise. But when people post on the group saying, I'm trying to find a rotation, and how do you rotate your projects? I need ideas for rotation because of X, Y, and Z reasons. I always tell people, well, how do you normally stitch? What are you trying to accomplish? Do you normally change projects a lot? Do you usually work on a few projects? Do you get overwhelmed if you have too many projects? Do you get bored if you have too few projects? Pay attention to the things that motivate you. Pay attention to the things that make you feel discouraged and frustrated. And if you notice that something motivates you, then you want to do more of that. And if you notice that it frustrates you or discourages you or makes you not want to stitch, then you want to avoid doing that. And if you just kind of pay attention to yourself, you'll come up with a better rotation that works for you better than, something that works for somebody else or something that you kind of proverbially bought off the shelf. Oh, well, this is a standard way to rotate, or this is something that's worked for somebody else. Let me try it. you know. So I do the same thing. So I'm noticing I do more stitches when there's a finish in sight. So, you know, that's something that I need to pay attention to and kind of work into my plans here because it really does help, bump up my stitch counts. So I think that's all that I have to say for this month. So I hope you guys are having a great uh, month, and I hope you have a great June. And summer is coming, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more reds and some more oranges and some warmer colors on my tree. Um, I'm getting a little, well, I mean, I'm not getting concerned. I've been kind of concerned because we don't have seasons here in Southern California, and I don't want my tree to be all just blue and green because the temperatures stay in the 60s and 70s all the time. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But hopefully we're going to get some warmer weather and I'll get some more variety in my tree. Anyway, I'll stop babbling and I will let you guys go. And I will see you next month. Bye.